I, 35 female, have owned our home since before marriage, and we have a prenup. In day-to-day life, we refer to it as our home, but my husband, 37, has never paid anything toward it and has no legal rights to it. Our parents are still alive, but my husband and I were both the youngest children, and our parents are much older. His mom has some dementia, and his dad has some major mobility issues. They can no longer stay in their home. Due to my mother-in-law wandering the street recently, adult social services have been involved. He has 2 siblings. One is an addict, and one is in prison. The other has 4 kids and lives in a 2-bedroom apartment. Neither of his siblings can take them in, so it's us or a nursing home. Both of my parents are older and have recently retired. They live in a major city, but can't afford to live there on just retirement. They need to move. My older brother is dead, so it's just me that my parents can rely on. I want my parents to move in with us. They're both easygoing people, and my husband gets along with them well. They can also contribute to the household finances. They wouldn't be a burden on us at all. My husband's parents just live off Social Security and are going into debt because of their medical costs. They would be a major burden on us. We'd have to take care of them and provide for them full time. My husband works much longer hours than I do, so I'd be responsible for them. My in-laws also aren't very appreciative people, and I don't like them. I mentioned that I wanted my parents to move in with us, and we could use the money we'd save from their financial help to put his parents in a decent home. He was furious. He thinks we should take his parents in, and my parents can just move somewhere cheaper and manage their own retirement funds fine. I don't think this is reasonable at all. I expressed that he doesn't have time to look after his medically needy parents, nor can he afford the in-home health care. He said, as his wife, I should look after his parents out of love for him. I think his response is BS, to be honest. I told him under no circumstances would his parents be moving in, and he was welcome to move out and care for them elsewhere. I told him if he decides to stay, I'll respect his decision of not wanting my parents to move in, and I can look into other options for them. Am I the idiot for not being willing to let my in-laws move in, but wanting my own parents to move in? Edit. I previously worked as a nurse, and now I work from home, hospital admin, and that's part of why he expects me to do it, I think. He says I can work from home and care for his parents at the same time. We don't have kids, and I hate them. He said, as his wife, I should look after his parents out of love for him. So, you'll have to take care of his parents and still be expected to work and bring in income. Yeah, no. Hard pass. That's straight up misogynistic. Funny how hubby pulls the ridiculous, your duty to my parents, if you love me card, but he doesn't think it applies to him. Not the idiot, and stick to your guns. Oh, I would have to put a period at the end of that sentence. I'm going to pretend you didn't say that. I'm walking away so you can reconsider exactly what you said and why it's a big red flag. He can retract that statement and try again, work it out in couples counseling, or we can jump straight to the divorce and you can get the heck out of my house and figure out your parents completely on your own. Nope, I'm not playing the if you love me game. How much do you want to bet? She's also doing most of the household labor, mental and physical. Don't know how Buddy can afford to be this misogynistic when he can't even afford to be the breadwinner and provide for his family. My goodness. Good luck to him getting his own place and supporting himself and his parents, I guess. OP, I am curious though. Where is his money going if you own your home and he doesn't put anything towards it, but he works much more than you do? I bought my house with cash when I was 25. The housing market was decent here at the time. There's no mortgage. My husband had a master's degree from an expensive university. Where we live, there are no high-paying jobs available with his degree. He makes very little, and most of his money goes to his student loans, 6 figures. He doesn't pay rent or any of the household bills. Okay, that makes sense. So realistically, most of the burden of financing and running the household that includes him already falls on you, whereas his money's used to support himself. I need clarification about what he's bringing to the table in this relationship. In all honesty, besides the pleasure of his company, this doesn't sound like a balanced relationship, to be honest. Update. Am I the idiot for wanting to move in with my parents and not my husband? I spoke to my husband for an hour about it. He thought I would cave, but I'm not. So our marriage is done. And honestly, I'm okay with it. I bring a lot more to the table, and I'm ready to be with someone who's an equal partner. I admire certain aspects of his culture, but I don't agree with the relentless idea of sacrificing everything so your parents are comfortable. They've always treated me poorly, and I'm unwilling to sacrifice for them. My husband packed some clothes and will stay on his friend's couch for a while. I will move my parents in later this month, and I'll change the locks and move his stuff out to a storage unit tomorrow. He can't afford a lawyer right away, so I'll get myself one. And if he can't come up with the money, I'll get whoever's cheapest, and that'll be it. I don't know what he'll do about his parents, and I don't care. He doesn't make enough to pay for their care, so they'll probably go to the only nursing home in the area that works with Medicare. It's a truly awful place, which does suck for them. But they treated me like crap, so that's life, I guess. I might have liked them if they weren't outright hostile to me at first. LOL. I get along well with others, but his mom asked if I was a prank when we met. LOL. The college I go to has a large international population, and many of my friends are from other countries. We thought it would be fun to do a potluck dinner where people brought food from the country they were from. This was in June. I'm from the United States and not a big metro area, so there's not exactly a ton of interesting cuisine for my area. The dish I decided was most relevant to bring is comprised mainly of pasta and chicken with a sauce. It's not the most complex dish. It's not something that would wow you, but it's a local dish and it's good. So I made it and brought it. I made it homemade, so I did put effort into it. I brought it to the dinner and my friends seemed to like it. However, a couple of people I'm not as close to and the girlfriend of one of my friends, Ella, were not impressed. She had been one of the ones to put more work into organizing it. I don't know Ella too well, but we've met a few times, and she's always been nice to me, and I've been nice to her. My partner's from Japan and brought a really good dish I had never tried before. Ella asked who brought the pasta, and when I said I did, she just said, "Oh." Afterwards, she texted me, saying that I should have brought something nicer. She hasn't talked to me since, and some other people also said stuff to me, saying that I was rude by bringing what I did to the dinner, but we made up. There also have been several jokes made about it. I didn't think I was wrong, but the more I think about it, the more I wonder if I should have just brought nothing. I did try, and I did make local food, but maybe I should have left the food to the people with more interesting local foods and stuff people hadn't tried. Am I the idiot for bringing what I did? It's a potluck. Not everyone's a gourmet chef. If you cook something outside your cultural background, she'd complain about cultural appropriation. You are not the idiot. I used to work with someone like Ella, and she sucked the fun out of potlucks. I got fed up once and told her, I'm Black, Irish, and made in the USA, so I'm bringing chocolate Lucky Charms. Only then did she quit asking me to bring in a dish representing my heritage. There's really one main job of any host or event coordinator: make everyone feel welcome so that everyone can have a great time. Sadly, Ella violated this one rule miserably. OP, did you have more fun and fond memories of the event because of what Ella said? If not, that's on her. You were thoughtful to contribute, and your contribution was appropriate. With a better host or event coordinator, your efforts would have been appreciated. Move on from negative people like that. In my household, my wife doesn't cook. She sucks at it, and it's just easier on our taste buds if I cook for us. Earlier this year, we both decided it was time for us to get back in shape. I researched some macro, calorie-friendly cooking recipes and got big into meal prepping. My wife stuck with it for a few weeks. but ultimately decided to quit. Luckily, this wasn't too much of an issue for me. She's a nurse and frequently works much later than I do, as my typical workday is from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So I would make my prepped meals for the week on my day off, and then I'd make dinner like I did prior. When I meal prep, I make 6 days worth of 3 meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and I just swap around lunch and dinner. Last week, Thursday morning, I left for work and planned on coming back Friday morning and stopping through the home, grabbing anything I needed, and then heading into the office. This was known for weeks in advance, so I didn't spring this on my wife. I figured that she'd be able to make sure she and our kid got dinner that night and breakfast the next morning. The following day, I'm running late and drive through the home looking for my last breakfast and lunch for the week, and they're gone. I don't have time to ask my wife, nor do I want to wake her up early before her shift, so I just go. I end up skipping breakfast and lunch. I get off of work and I'm starving and decide I'm just going to eat dinner early. And when I look for my dinner for that night, it's not there. This set me off. When my wife gets home, I ask her what's up, and she admits to eating the meals. I told her that I had portioned out food for an entire day, and she ate all of it in a single night. She said it was my fault, as I didn't make anything for her and our kid to eat, and I just left the meal prep things, so they had to eat those. We argued, and she told me I was being selfish. So now I decided that if I'm selfish for expecting her to feed herself for one night, I would just not cook anymore, as I'm doing a lot of work for a selfish person. For the past week, I made my meal prep meals and stored them at work, and let her figure out what she wanted to do for dinner by herself. Of course, I still cook for our kid, but only one portion is small enough for him to eat by himself. I told her I would keep this up and that she should learn to cook for herself if she's unhappy. She told me she's too tired when she comes home from work to cook, and that I'm being incredibly petty. I think I'm justified, and I'm pushing her to learn a life skill she should have by now. Am I the idiot? OMG, not the idiot. The wife needs to learn the moral behind, don't bite the hand that feeds you. Is it petty? 100%. Is it deserved petty? 100%. To be called selfish because you expect her to figure out something for one night is ridiculous and insulting. Not the idiot, but your wife sure is, and a bad parent, and a bad spouse. Everyone's the idiot here. This is a ridiculous and petty situation all around. You're an adult married couple, raising a child together, yet your communication and conflict solution skills are worse than a preschooler's. Your parent is not your child to be educated by you, nor your enemy to be taught a lesson. I thought the same. His wife is an idiot for sure, but getting petty to prove a point is toxic in its own right. Good marriages with good partners work to find a middle ground when there's a disagreement and resolve the disagreement. It's not about winning or being right. It's about maintaining the quality of the marriage. It's an all-around silly situation. Are people allergic to conversations and talking? Like, what is going on here? Also, as a complete side note, eating 6-day-old food sounds nasty. He should be freezing anything that's not eaten in 2 to 3 days. My sister has a teen son. His dad is a deadbeat. Anyway, my sister married Craig a year ago. He's the type that thinks anyone uneducated or dumb is worthless. And he clearly thinks my nephew is one of them because his grades aren't ideal. He's a bit of a daydreamer. Well, they invited my family to dinner, and it wasn't good. My nephew told us all he got a job as a lifeguard a couple of minutes in. His stepdad was surprised, but instead of congratulating him, this man said, "When I said get a job, I figured McDonald's. I don't think you're qualified to be a lifeguard. Whoever hired you is an idiot. Is it that place? For everyone's safety, I think I need to give them a call." My nephew said, "Screw you," and left the house. Craig laughed and said, "He needs to hear this. Thank God I'm here. The boy needed a father figure like me because he's been coddled by women his whole life." Y'all, I was in shock. Like, I couldn't believe my ears. My husband had to step out because he was starting to laugh. I asked him if he was being serious, and he was all like, "I'm being serious. That boy's an airhead because he's never had a father in his life. Tough love is what we do best. That's why sons need two parents. Dads to toughen their boys up, and moms to coddle them after. You throw off that balance and get a boy acting like a dumb blonde girl, like my stepson." I just grabbed my girls and left. My sister chased after us and was all like, "We haven't even eaten yet, and Craig's gonna yell at me for wasting his time. Please don't leave yet." I told her I was sorry, but unlike her, I have self-respect and won't sit there listening to his BS. Maybe she can, heck, maybe she agrees, but that's her problem, and I am not making it mine. She started to cry and said I was taking it way too far. I don't have to like Craig, but some respect would be nice. Besides, it's not like Craig was saying anything to me, and he has a point about tough love. You know I love my son, but come on. It's true he isn't the brightest. Craig's just trying to help him in his own way. I rolled my eyes at her and told her I was glad Craig's money made her so happy that she was willing to lose her mind. She just started crying again and called me a witch. My husband had to drag me to the car. He told me that I was being a bit harsh. My daughters even said that I should calm down. When we got home, my mom called me and said to please give my sister a break because, yeah, he's an idiot, but at least he can provide for her, unlike the other men she's dated and married. Apparently, this is the best they all think she'll get, and I'm ruining it for her. I'm also failing to put myself in her shoes. I'm just angry. Am I the idiot? Edit. My nephew is often with me, or his uncle or brother, but his situation is heartbreaking. Craig made their lives so much worse because before he got involved, my sister used to move mountains for her son, and the dumb blonde girl makes me so angry because apart from being blonde, which for some reason bothers my brother-in-law, my nephew is none of those things. Your sister's selling out her son to an abusive bully for her financial comfort. Do not let up on her about this. She and Craig are both idiots. Your sister should be ashamed of bringing a man like that around her son. Abusing a child to toughen them up? That's disgusting and will only cause long-term harm for your poor nephew. If you do anything at all, it should be speaking words of encouragement to that poor child who's stuck in such a terrible home. I don't have to like Craig, but some respect would be nice. Respect? Like telling you that women can only raise airheads? Respect? Like calling blonde women dumb? Respect? Like calling people dumb if they're not educated to his standards? Respect like threats to call someone's employer and get them fired? Respect like yelling at his spouse when he's causing the issue? Respect like laughing at a 16-year-old for getting a job? It's not like Craig was saying anything to me. Oh, but he was. He was laughing in your face and basically calling you and your daughters airheads, like all females, apart from disrespecting your nephew, that is. And since, per your comment, your nephew spends almost every day at your home, that is, in the presence of a man, he also disrespected your husband. Point that out to him and see if he thinks it's still funny.